Welcome to subramani.com. Love to have you as a subscriber if you have not already subscribed. Here I'm going to talk about small business failure, and it's a huge problem, right? Very many small businesses fail, and having seen small businesses over long periods of time, I do realize some of the symptoms and some of the reasons why a small business fails. So the first one, if you ask me, is not taking a salary. The small entrepreneur, when he starts off, he does not understand one very basic accounting principle. The business entity is different from the human being who is running it. Whether it's a sole proprietor, whether it's a partnership, whether it's a private limited company. And this I'm talking from a mind point of view. Legally, you understand that the company is different and you are different. However, practically, you do not understand that the sole proprietor is different from you, the individual. So they mix money, they don't take a salary from the place. They think when they need money, they draw from the business. When the business needs money, they draw from the private accounts, which means their accounting is a mess. In most cases where the expenses are very low for the household, they do not even know that they're grossly, terribly under earning. So a person who gives up a 30-40 lakh rupee job to do business, which means he was getting about 2 lakhs per month cash, is not perhaps generating that in his business. So he doesn't understand that he's not generating because he mixes everything. He thinks he's doing well. Actually, he may be doing disastrously, doing very badly. If he doesn't take into account the depreciation into his own time, etc., doesn't even value it. Then what he does is, if it's some business where he has to deal with friends, he says, oh, he's a friend, he will pay, so I can take it later on. I personally have done it, and I'm currently also doing it. It's pretty stupid. But if it's an amount of money which will significantly change your lifestyle, better not do it. Don't postpone collection just because he or she happens to be a friend and they are in difficult times or whatever reasons. Don't do this. And this largely happens because you don't sit and talk with your wife, and because if you told your wife that this is what you're doing, she'll tell you what to do, because she runs a house, she knows how to run a business. So which means you don't have a personal budget, and not having a personal budget, you carry that bad habit even into your business. Now if you had a partner brings in some discipline, saying, oh, what do you want to do? And once you capture all that on paper, you have something called a semblance of a budget. But if you're a sole proprietor, you don't have anything, you don't have targets, you don't have revenue targets, you don't have sales targets, you don't have client acquisition targets, you're just going on. So many IFAs fall into this category, but IFAs are lucky. I'll tell you why later on. And individuals don't again have any idea of the costing that they have to do. What price are they buying? What are their overheads? What price they should sell? They don't have a clue on that. And suddenly when they get a big order from, say, a Reliance or an ONGC or any government organization, they're very happy that they've got the order and they're thrilled about it. They do not understand that they have to price in a 2-year delay. The government of India, with all its noble intentions, has no clue about time value of money. If they owe you 1 rupee today, they don't even feel guilty paying you in 2023. And I'm not joking. 2-year delays in infrastructure payments is quite common. If you do not price it in with a 12% or a 14% interest for 2 years, you are going to surely lose money. Big companies do not pay small vendors on time. It's a fact of life. Don't be proud that you have Reliance as your client or ONGC as your client or any of the oil companies or any government organization. They just don't pay on time. You do not even understand the implication of this. The other thing is not creating assets outside the business. No businessman ever wants to remove money from his business, because he keeps telling himself, I'm doing very well, and which means all his so-called earnings, super earnings, profits are stuck in inventories, in debtors, etc. There is absolutely no pressure to collect. So you have got to remove money from the business and put it aside for the family, and the family should be managing it. You should not be managing your business and your personal finance. If you are managing your business, your wife should be managing your personal finance, because that is the way she will demand 2 lakhs per month to do an SIP for the children's education, for your own retirement, etc. So if you are not building assets outside your business, it's a big mistake, because one day when things go wrong, you will wonder why you didn't remove money. Or one day when things go right, let's say you're running a very successful retail business and your neighbor is running a very not so successful retail business, and one day he comes to you and says, look, I'm in distress, I want to sell my shop and I thought you were the best. Maybe you're the best, but if you have not built assets outside the business, you cannot remove it. So there is the reason to do that. All businessmen need a liquid account, an overnight fund or liquid, and ultra short bond fund, and a retirement plan. A retirement plan so that you do not touch that money. Whenever you think you made supernormal profits, just keep putting money into the retirement plan. That way you have removed money from the circuit and made sure that you're collecting well. The other worry is not paying enough income tax. Don't try doing that. Pay whatever is a legitimate tax, because you leave enough trail anyway. So if you are getting money which is a direct credit from the customer and you're making all your payments by check, there's a damn decent chance that you will pay the right amount of income tax that is necessary. People think that because they're on their own they should not pay tax. That's wrong. If you do not have written down goals in your personal life, the chances are you will not have written down goals in your business life, and that is heading towards disaster. Another big mistake which I see young businessmen make is not having adequate insurance. If you do not have adequate medical insurance for the people around you whom you love, you will never be able to concentrate on your business if something were to happen to them. Yes, it is terrible getting cancer. It is terrible if somebody in your family gets cancer, but it is far more terrible that somebody has got cancer and you did not have adequate medical insurance. In fact, I have this theory that when a 35-year-old is hit with cancer or with kidney failure, the first thing which hits him is, I wish I had more insurance, medical insurance and life insurance, because after this event, you are completely not going to get any fresh insurance. So that's bad news for you, which not getting adequate insurance means not being able to borrow, right? You cannot go and take a 5 crore housing loan just because you can't take a 5 crore term insurance. That's the problem. Thank you.